Hello. This is the recording of part two of the integrated project, access to drinking water. Yeah, I've been busy this weekend, so I couldn't meet the group or those who wanted to have a meeting with me. So I decided to do it today. That is Monday. Although I'm still tight, but I'm trying my possible best to get it done. Um, but then I hope everybody has been able to go through their models. If you're able to go through it, there are certain things when I say it here, you understand and you'll be able to do it. And if you don't understand anything, you can just go back on the video, or you can just pause, do whatever I'm saying in the video, or go back and then re-watch. If still you don't understand, then you can private chat me and then we talk about it. All right, so this is the integrated project. I think that one too has been divided into 5 parts. So the first part, there is a question: how does the imported dataset differ from estimates on the use of 2020 dataset? And then he said, in the project overview and understanding the data, we had a look at the different features and definitions of this dataset. Now we want to see how these features are represented in the dataset. So we come here and says we will take a look at the same WHO or UNICEF GMP estimate on the use of water dataset, but now it ranges from 2000 to 2020. So this dataset has we used similar datasets last week, and they have given us in another one the same, almost the same thing, just that they've added some other things. So we say we import the data, that is the estimate. So by now you should have downloaded the file. Last week when we were doing the part one, we all knew how to I showed you how to download it and then get the file. So you get the CSV file from the part 2 project, and then we proceed from there. So they are telling us what is different from this particular one from the previous one, and they are saying that the income group has been removed while the year feature has been added. So that is what they try to draw our attention to. Okay, so moving to the second part, they are saying that, or the A is saying, to observe which years are represented for which countries. We sort both by name and year. So before we come to this one, let's go to the import and then import our data. So first of all, create a new sheet. Hold on. Okay, so I have to first create a new sheet by typing sheet.new, and then I will import the file. So I click on file, import, and then, but before that, let me show you something. Before you import, you have to unzip the file that you downloaded. The file has been zipped. So for instance, if your file is downloaded like this, what you see on my screen here, you can see that it is what integrated project transforming, and there's a yellow folder with a zip inside it or in it. So even if you put your mouse pointer on it, you can see the pop-up saying that it is a zipped folder. Now you can't just use this, so you have to unzip it. Some of us will right click and go to extract all and get all of the data in it. Others who just double click and it will work for them. Then they will just copy from here or extract. So if you don't know how to extract, you should um, maybe ask a friend to help you with that. With mine, I don't have any third-party app that I can use to extract. Because it is Windows 11, I'm able to extract it without any third-party app. But if yours is not Windows 11 and this thing is showing something different, where you cannot just double click and it will open, then you have to use that third-party app to open it. So that is, I think we have Power ISO can do that, and then WinRAR can also do that. So if you get those apps, you can use it to open the folder. So mine has been already extracted, and this is the folder at the top here. So when I open it, I have regions and this. All right, so I've made sure that everything is set. Before I'll come and open my Excel sheet, go to import, then I'll import it. So I go to upload as usual, and then I look for my folder. If yours doesn't open direct, this is the folder that I extracted. Then I open it, then I come to estimate of use of water. That's what they need, not the regions. Then I click on open. So when I click on open, I just leave these ones like that and click on import. Good. So my Google Sheet has already done everything for me and it has imported it for us nicely. Okay. So we are told to um, sort both by name and year. So we come here, then we select name. Sorry, we select the whole data. So we click on this box here to select everything here. So we click on this small box here so that it will select the whole thing. Then go to um, so we go to um, so we go to data, sorry, data, and then sort range, and then to advanced range sorting option, because we are not just sorting from A to Z like the sort range by column A. No, we are not talking about column A. We want to talk about both A and B. We are sorting them at the same time. Okay, so it is different from when I sort only A. When I sort only A will be sorted alphabetically and it will move with the other data. But when I sort A and B, it is going to sort A followed by B. So that is what is going to happen. So when I click on it, I'll take this one so that I'll have my column names listed in the sort bar. Without this, when you click on this, you will not see the names or your column names. You will see only column A, column B, column C. But when I take this, I can select from the list. So they said we should sort by name, and that is A to Z, and then followed by year. So I select add another sort column, and then I think mine has selected it automatically. That one to A to Z. Then I click on sort. So my data has been sorted in column A and B. Now the part 1 under A is saying that uh, we have to freeze our row 1. I think this is trying to uh, warn us or give us heads up before we sort, but we have been able to sort it without any problem. But then sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's because of the selection. If you don't sort it well or you don't do it well, the first row will be sorted together with the data, and that is not what we want. But then, as far as they said we should freeze the first row, then let's freeze the first row. So it says that we should go to, or we should right click on row 1, view more row actions, and then freeze up to row 1. So let's go to row 1, right click on it, go to view more actions, and then freeze up to row 1, so that it will only freeze the top row. So when you scroll, you see that the top row is static at one place. All right, then if we were to sort only by name or year using right click sort sheet A to Z, we won't be. So this one is also explaining what we just did, that if we sort for only A, we won't get what we want, but we want to sort with column A and column B at the same time. So that one we have done it. Now the B part, calculate the average difference in years for data entries per country. Calculate the average difference in years for data entries per country. So they are giving the instruction, and then they will give you these ones to help you solve that issue. So in the data set, we create a new column, YDiff. So we go there and then create a new column, YDiff. Then they said from the first few rows in the sorted sheet, we assume we only have 2 entries per country. So theoretically, we can subtract the second year from the first year per country name. So this is the formula they give us, where n is a row number. So this is what is happening. When you look at the countries here, you see that they are in doubles. So this Algeria, Algeria, this is Andorra, Andorra, Angola, Angola. So each country and their year. Okay, so this Afghanistan, you have 2015 and then 2020. And then they are saying that we should find the year difference by country. So it means you will subtract the current year or whatever, the uh, the current year minus the previous year. You find the difference between the current year and the previous year. All right, so that is what we are doing. So it says we should use if statement to only subtract 2 years if the country name is the same for the new feature YDiff. If they are not the same, return an empty string. We are assuming that per country the text will be exactly the same. So we are going to do this. We are going to look at the country here. If this and this, the first and the second are the same, we find the difference. If not, we don't. So it means from here, this and this are not the same, so we cannot find the difference here. But this and this are the same. The Albania are the same, so we can find the difference. Now when you come here, Albania and Nigeria are not the same, so they will not, it will not calculate any difference. So that is what is going to happen. So in Google Sheets, when we are comparing the two texts, instead of doing if if this equals that, we should do what? We should find the difference between the n plus 1 that they showed, that is the the one row ahead of us minus the current row. So if that is it, then we should, sorry, if a2 is equal to that, then we should do this difference. If not, then we should put an empty string. Now look at something. We have been able to compare the two, then we just autofill. You can autofill by clicking on this, and then we do that. Autofill has been mentioned severally, so you should know. This one, I think it worked. I was expecting something different, but it worked. Some will say that comparing them just like that can sometimes give you problem, like saying h is equal to a3, because Google Sheet sees Afghanistan this and that. If there's a white space in front of this first one, it will be different from when there's no white space in front of it. So it will see this and this not to be the same. So if I put something here like this, okay, and I come here, you see that the value has vanished because it doesn't see them to be equal. It doesn't see them to be equal because I've put the white space in front. When you come back, you see that it has come. So using the a2 equals a3 means you are very sure that your data in the first column, this one, they don't have white spaces. So some people, because they want peace, they will just take the data and trim it. So they will use trim. So instead of a3 equals a4, they will put a3 in brackets. So they will trim it like this. We use a function called trim. Then we put a3 inside. Okay, and then we do that for a4, trim. Then we put a4 inside. It will give you the same thing. Okay, sorry. Okay, the same thing. Pull it up. So it will give you the same thing, you see. But then another thing is that, what if your data, some of them are capitals? Let's say there was a mistake and then this a in Afghanistan and this a are not the same. Okay, so you see that some of them, maybe the a here is capital and the a here is small letter. So during your so you see that some of them, this one may contain a as capital letter here, and this one will contain e in a small letter. But so you don't know what the data is, but it looks like our data has been done nicely for us, so we don't have problem with that. Other than that, this is what we are going to do. It means that instead of just comparing them with trim, we can also have to change, or we have to also change the data to lowercase, all of them to lowercase. We did it in our models. So you do lowercase, then you trim, and then also we sometimes use the EQ to equate them, when they are text, EQ. But I think this is okay. Let's use this one like that. I think our data doesn't have any issue, so that is why you see that the numbers are all working. I think so. So I'm done with that. So let's continue from there. Then we said use an if statement. Fine, we have used it to do it. Note the comparison operator for strictly equal in Google Sheet is equal sign rather than double as we use in pseudocode. We can also use this function to check if the two strings are the same. When they say strings, they are just text. So they are comparing the two texts, Afghanistan with Afghanistan, each country with itself. So we do that. We have done that already. So let's move to the next one. It says that because we've set our if statement to return an empty string when the names are not the same, we can assume that if we find y_def to be equal to 0, we have duplicate rows. So find and remove the erroneous duplicate values from the database and fix the broken y_def formula for the adjacent rows. Now here what they are saying is that we were trying to find we were trying to compare the two same countries, and then we find the difference. If it is not the same, we don't find the difference, or we just put empty string. So it means that where it is 0, it means we have duplicate. It means we have duplicate. Um, so that is what they are saying. So where it is 0, it means they have duplicates there. So if we have duplicate, then why are they saying that? Why are they saying that when it is 0, it is duplicate? Look at this. If Afghanistan is appearing twice with 2020 and 2050, and we have another Afghanistan too with 2020 and then 2015, you see that when 2020 is here, it will subtract 2020 from 2020 and we'll have 0. So that will tell you that we have similar, or let's say the same thing, okay, because it is sorting this and then this. So when it is sorting this, look at this. If the 4 is all Afghanistan, it will sort 2015, 2020, then the next 2020 will come. Okay, so it will start 2015, sorry, 2015, 2015 again, and then before 2020, 2020. So when your data is calculating, or your formula is calculating, it will see this Afghanistan here. Let's say the 4 are all Afghanistan. It will do the because it has sorted a year, it will be 2015, 2015, 2020, 2020. So it will do 2020 minus 2020, which is 0. Then 2015 minus 2015 will be 0. So it will tell you that those data are what duplicate. So because whatever is here is the same thing, is the same 2 at the top. So that is what they are saying. All right. So they are saying that in the newly created summary sheet, this place, they didn't really tell us to create a summary sheet, but what they are saying, it means that we have to create it. In the newly created summary sheet, calculate the average year difference across all countries, rounded to 2 decimal places. Calculate the minimum and maximum year difference in the same sheet. So let's create the sheet and then label it let's label it summary. So we rename it as summary. Then we are told to calculate the average year difference across all countries, rounded to 2 decimal places. Calculate the minimum and maximum year. So we are calculating for the average of the year difference across all countries. So we come here, then what we calculated, we find the average. So let's type in average for year difference. let me do average here. Let me do shortcut. um, let me do average underscore year underscore day. Okay, so we type in our average formula, and then we move to this one, select the column, press enter. So that is our average year difference. They said we should calculate the maximum and then also the minimum. So our maximum value will be equals max, and then we move to this one, then the min, that one to go to the same place, you select and press enter. Okay, but before that, we have to correct something first. We said they were duplicate, we didn't remove them. So let's come to this place and then look for 0, because they say when it is 0 it is a duplicate. So we create filter, so we click create filter, and then come and click on the filter button. Make sure that you clear everything and you select only 0. When you select only 0 and then press OK, it will show only the duplicate values here. So we delete the duplicate values. So after deleting the duplicate values, we can now remove our filter. So everything is now clear. Sorry, I didn't bring that one on. So when you come to the summary, let's do our summary again. Sorry, we have to correct what's happened. You see that after removing duplicates, we have reference error. So we correct that. It was all said in the instruction, I've forgotten. So we click and then drag downwards again to correct that. So you see that the ref will go away. Then when you come to our summary sheet, you see that everything is now available. Alright, so that is it. We were asked to correct that here. Find and remove erroneous duplicates, and then we should also fix the broken while loop, and we have done that. In the newly created summary sheet, calculate the average year difference. We have done that, but we have to round it to what? 2 decimal places. So you come and click on it. You can use the increase and decrease to do the to reduce it to 2 decimal places, or you can use round to do it. After that, we come to calculate the minimum and maximum. We have done that too. And then, how does the average year difference compare to the minimum and maximum year difference? How does the average year difference compare to the minimum and maximum years represented in the data set? In the newly created sheet, create histogram of the year column. Note the minimum and maximum values on the horizontal axis. And this is where there's a problem. I don't know if it was a mistake or I am rather not getting it. But we said we should create a histogram using the year column. And when you do that, you can't see any proper histogram. But when you come here, where is the year column? Yeah, this is the year column. We select everything and then we set histogram. So I'm going to look for histogram. This is my histogram. This is what I see. Okay, this is what I see. So I don't know if there's something I did wrong, but if I don't use this and I use the one we just created, the column we just created, that one makes a little bit more sense, like this. So you can see, and they were talking about minimum and maximum points on this. So when you come here, it says what it says, note the minimum and maximum values on the horizontal axis, and this is our horizontal axis. You can see the maximum point here and then the minimum point here. So I don't know whether this is what they really needed and then they just said the year difference or something, or they just said we should find the year, the graph for the year. I don't know how things are moving on here, because it is what is happening here is really for years apart, so many years apart like this. And ours is from I think 2015 or so up to 2020. So and this one too is from that 20 2000 to that part. So the rest we are not on these years. So I think that is why it has plotted just one bar. Okay, all right. So I'll leave that one to you to figure out how to go about it. For now, I can't really uh, do that one because I don't know what to do about it. But for this, for doing it this way, that is what you get. This is the result, and it seems to match with what they are saying. After plotting it, they are telling you that the maximum and the minimum, when you observe, you see it on the horizontal axis. Don't worry. So let's move on to the next one. Now it says that the United Nations uses annual rate of change to see whether the proportion of access to drinking water is declining or increasing. So they use annual rate of change to see whether the proportion of access to drinking water is declining or increasing. So the ARC is a statistical measure used to express average yearly change rate of a variable over a certain period of time. So this is the calculation and these are the explanations. We are not going to use these ones, but rather they are going to explain it here. So in Google Sheets, we need to do a row calculation between 2 years for the same country to calculate the ARC based on our column names. So our ARC equation is like this, where X represents the different areas, that is national, okay, the N, ARCN represent ARC national. As for the X, it just represent either it is N, U, or R. Okay, so we can have what bus U or what bus R or what bus N. That X there, that is the meaning. And so they are saying we calculate using what bus N, and then we calculate ARCR using what bus R, ARCU using what bus U. So we are going to calculate ARC, this one, ARCX. So if it is ARCN, then here will also be what bus N, what bus N, and then we continue. If it is ARCU, then it will be what bus U, what bus U, in that order. And then this n plus 1 is just the cell after the current cell minus the current cell. So the n plus 1, that is the meaning. So when we come to the next one, so they are saying that we should remember that what bus x or whatever, it will be what bus n, what bus u, what bus what bus r. They are all in percentages. So let's calculate ARC per country. So they are saying that when we are calculating 2, you should only calculate the ARC between 2 years of the same country name. So the ARC should only be based on the two country names, not everything. Okay, so it means that when we come here, we should have ARCN. Let me do this. We should have ARCR and then ARCU. So they are saying that it should be based on the country name. So this and this, we calculate for it and it will put it there. So looking at the formula, it is word pass n for that particular one minus word pass n for that particular one, then this. So let's go one by one. So equals, so ARCN is that the same as or equals word pass n, because we are talking about ARCN, so our calculation should also be in what n. So we take this, I think we take this one first because it is the n plus 1, yeah, the down one first before the top one. So the down one minus the top one, okay, and then all divided by the year, the down one minus the top one. So the year to all divided by the year. So I've divided by the year, the down one minus the top one. So make sure you put them in brackets. Make sure you put them in brackets like this. Like this. And press enter. I'll not autofill for now. Now this is the result. But then we are basing on this, okay, so it means that it has to do something similar to what is here. Check if the two countries are the same before you perform the calculation. Okay, if you check and they are not the same, don't perform that calculation. So we can borrow this formula, that is check the two countries. So we come inside here, this is the calculation. So I'll first check if country A is the same as country B, then I'll do this, else I will not do anything. Then I'll press enter. So I can do autofill and then I'm done. So I've done the autofill, everything is okay. Now I come back, it is telling you to create 3 new columns, namely, oh sorry, I think the first one, oh okay, so I've started this one already. So we are creating 3 columns, that is ARCN, ARCR, ARCU in the dataset sheet. These columns represent the annual rate of change for countries' national, rural, and urban populations. So we calculate the ARC for each of the new features when the two country names are the same. As with calculating YD, we only want to calculate the ARC between 2 years when it's the same country. And in other words, you will only calculate ARCs if the country name is the same for the 2 years. So that is exactly what we've done. So it says, since we are calculating the same value based on different columns, we can use both absolute and relative references in formula to ensure that correct features are being used for. So these ones are telling you how to manipulate your formulas to fit so that you can do autofill without any difficulty. So you see that this is ARCR, so that one will be based on So the first one was based on what pass n. The next one is based on what pass r. So that is the r1. The arcr will rather be based on this. And then the arcu will be based on what pass u. So with this, we can say, as for the comparison of the countries, they will remain the same. They will not change. Okay, so if we drag to the next column and this, it shouldn't change the country to the next column. It should lock the country. So I'll make sure that it locks across columns. So across columns, it won't change. It should still be in column A. So I'll put a dollar sign here so that it will lock column A for both. As for the E3, E2, it it is in this column, and this column will never be used when we go to R. So R is a different column, which is here. Okay, so this one we leave it like that. Then the B3, B2 is the year. You will always compare the years. So that one to we lock only the column. Then press enter. So that when I am dragging it here, or when I try to drag it this way, I can come and edit, because I know that it is only this that will change so that it will fit the R, because this one and this one will always be the same. So let's go to the column where we have what pass R. So what pass R is here. So that is this one minus this one. That's what we need. So it will be what I3 minus I2. So we just place I here. I3 minus I2. So when we finish, we can do our autofill. We do the same thing for U. So U2, we change it to what bus U. Where is what bus U? So what bus U is here. So that one to this one minus this. So we do M3 minus M2. Press enter. So we mark it. That is also what we need. So we are done with that. We are done with that. Let me move my histogram to this sheet, and then so that I can get enough space to work. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Our condition will be the country name in the, so this one is explaining the condition. So you compare the country names. When it is true, you go and calculate ARC subscript X. So it could be ARCN, ARCI, ARCN, ARCU, yeah, ARCR. Okay, then you do that. So I think this is what they are showing you. This is the formula. So in the middle here, the R part, you see that there's a formula there. So you can use this formula. Okay. All right. So that is for ARCN. You see that they also wrote the formula in the beginning as I did before we try to compare using this A3 equals whatever, using the mean. Okay, the next one says we see that the error is observed in rows where one or both of our what bus x rows are null, and the if error function to the if statement in the features this what we created, so that if the output ARCF value is an error, the value is replaced with null. So we are going to replace all value error with null. So wherever we see value error like this, the three columns we created, we are going to correct them so that they will all be now. So if error, I put if error in front, and then comma, empty space. Hey, sorry, now. So I put now in a quote, in a quote. So I close it, enter. Then I'll do my autofill from where I entered the formula downwards so that it will correct that mistake. So we will not see value error again. We will only see now. We will only see now. So let me see if I can see one. So I can see now here. So let's do the same thing to this one. So that one too, if error, then put now. So come to the end, comma, then you put now in quotes. So you are telling us that if the whole thing that you type, the formula you type at the beginning, all of them evaluate to error, then do it now. Okay, so that is it. Then do autofill for this one too. Okay, so I think this thing wants to give me a problem. Okay, I think I've resolved it. Let me see. Okay. Okay, so do that for this one too, by yourself. Okay. So that one too has been resolved. So you see now where there's error, so you can't see value error again. All right, so let's continue from there. So because we divide by the difference in years, the ARC indicates the yearly change in access in percentage points. So you should know that. It's easy to jump to the conclusion that average rural access has increased more significantly per year than urban access because the average ARC value is higher. However, we have not considered observations where access is already 100%. So it means that we can just say that the average rural access has increased more significantly per year than the urban because the average ARC value is higher. Um, but they are saying that, however, we have not considered observations where access is already 100%. You see, we did something here. We we were subtracting from each other to get the average. Now, if the two, imagine that if what bus n and what bus u or whatever, you you subtract and then you get 0. I think it's so let's say if Andorra, for instance, is 100% at the top here and 100% at the bottom, when you subtract, it will be 0 over the whatever the difference in B in the year. So 0 over any number will be what? 0. So at the end of the day, you get 0 for that particular ARC. And when you get 0, it means that the data, the average that you find for all of them, because of the 0, it will be affected, because that one is not even something that we should ignore, because it's 100%. And so that is what they are talking about, that the we have not considered that. So it says when access to basic water service per country is reported as 100% for both years, the ARC values are 0. If we calculate the average ARC value over all countries and a relatively large proportion of those values are equal to 0, our average will be lower. So it will affect our average when we have countries with 100% in both years. When in both years we have 100%, it will be 100 minus 100, which will make it 0. And that will significantly affect our average when we calculate for average, because average should be the number of items or the number of values there, the values there, the sum of the values there divided by the number of items there, something like that. Okay, so in other words, a lower ARC average, as calculated before, does not necessarily indicate less progress in changing access to basic water services, because it takes into account countries that already have 100% access. Alright, so that one is self-explanatory. Let's move to the next one. It says we should calculate the number of countries per area that have full access and annual rate of change equal to 0, smaller than 0, and greater than 0. So we go to, in the summary sheet, calculate the number of countries that have missing ARC values. That is the number of now occurrences in each of the columns: ARCN, ARCR, and ARCU. So we go and calculate the number of countries in both, or in the various ARCs. So we can, let me put something here like ARCN, ARCR, and then ARCU. Then I'll come here and do number of, it says number of countries. Okay, so the number of countries. So if the number of countries, it means we have to count. So count, count, then we go to ARCN, then we count. So um um they said we should count what? First of all, let me check it again. I was absent-minded. So that is the number of now occurrence. So we are going to calculate for now occurrence rather, not so we will use count if. So we press equal to count if, then go and select the data for ARCN, because we are under ARCN, comma, then we say what? Count if, then we put now in bracket like this, we close it. So that is for ARCN. So we have counted. Now when you come here, you see that ARCN followed by ARCR and U, and we have also arranged it the same way. So I can do autofill and it will do for the rest for me. So I have 64 now for ARCR, 50 for ARCU. Okay, now let's move to the next one. It says that in the summary sheet, also calculate the number of countries that have full access across both years. That is the number of countries where access is 100% for both years reported. So we are going to look at the countries with 100%. Okay, uh, so I'll do 100%. Sorry, countries, something like that. So we are supposed to calculate the number of countries where access is 100% for both years. That is for both years. Here, when you come here, so both years, let's say this and that, if they are all 100%, we will count them. Okay, so you count um, based on the condition that they are they are uh, the countries are the same. Okay, so it means if it is Afghanistan with 100% and then the same Afghanistan with another 100%, you count. But then Afghanistan appears twice, so the countries appears twice. Each of the countries they appear twice. So we should count everything, then we divide by 2. So if let's say the countries are in total 40, we divide by 2, it means the actual number of countries is 20 because every country appears twice. So instead of one country we have two, instead of two countries we have four. You see that? So when we divide by 2, it will give us the actual number of countries. So when it comes to summary, we are looking for those countries with 100%. So we'll do count if. So count if, then I come and select the countries. That for this one. What plus n? Sorry. Then I put 100 there. Okay. Now let me check the instruction again. It says in the summary sheet also calculate the number of countries that have full access across both years. That is the number of countries where access is 100% for both years. Alright, so we can use the word bus n for ERC, and yeah, I think that is it. So that we can do autofill. Now let's first of all check what bus n is here, but the next one is not what bus r. What bus r is rather in I, so that one we cannot do autofill. So I will rather do it and then edit. So here this one is in E. The next one, that is what bus R, is in I, column I. So I replace the F with what, column I. Then I press enter. Then I replace this one with column what bus U, so column M. So that one too I do M and then M, and then I'm done with that. Good. So that is for that one, that particular one. As in the previous part of the project, we have access to basic water service entries that are greater than 100%, which is not possible. So as in the previous one, we have some of them being what, 100% or more than 100%. It is in our data set. You see that some of the word bars. So let's check word bars n, for instance. You click on this, you go to filter, create filter. When you check, you come down, you check, you see that I'll load more. So you see that some of them are more than 100%. You see some of these things are more than 100%. So that is what they are saying. So we should go and correct that. So we should create new columns in original data sheet called what bus n, what bus r, and what bus u, all rounded. So we are going to round them by putting them here. So what bus n, what bus, what bus r, and then what bus u. Okay, I think I've listed all of them. What bus n, what bus r, and what bus u. All has to be rounded, so let me put rounded in brackets. Rounded, and this one to rounded, and then this one to rounded. Okay, so when I close it, I'm done with that one. Okay, so we have created the three columns. That is the original access to whatever, and then we round it to what? 0 decimal places. So we round what bus r to 0 decimal places. So I punch round, I go to what bus n, in this case this one, then comma 0, then I press enter. So I accept the fill, then I'll come and do the same thing here, round, then I'll go and select what bus r cell, the first cell here, comma 0, and then I close it. So that one, so I'll accept the autofill. And then what bus u to the same thing, round, then I'll go and round what bus u here, comma 0, and then I press enter and I accept. So I'm done with that nicely. So the next one, create a new column called ARC and full in original data sheet that determines if the country names are the same and that both what bus and features for that country are greater than 99% for both years. Return full access if it is true. Okay, so it says we should create a new column called ARC underscore n underscore 4. So ARCN underscore 4. Then coming. So if the country names are the same and that both what bus n rounded features for that country are greater than 99%. Okay. For both ways, return full access if it is true. So we are going to do ARCN4 in original data. So we are going to use let me see. Okay, so you are going to use the if statement. So I'll type if the country names are the same, which we we will borrow that formula from here. Let me delete this and borrow that formula from here, somewhere here. I'm borrowing that formula. I copied. I didn't just click on the cell and copy. I make sure I edit it and then copy. Other than that, if you select the cell and copy, the this thing too will change. The A, B, whatever will change. They will change accordingly. But I just want the same text, so I paste it here. It will give me the same answer in this cell. Okay, but that is not what I want. I just want to compare these, and when they are true, then I'll say 4 axes. Other than that, leave it empty. But that is not the only thing they said we should compare. The only thing we are doing. They said and, so you see the end is even bolded. That both, I don't know why they say both here. Both what bus and I thought both bus n and something. Both and that both. So we should see that I think what bus n rounded. Okay. So we are checking the two. If they are both 100%, then we can say 4 axes. So let's do this. So we say this whole thing, and so we put end at the beginning. Then we put, now compare these two. I'm just putting the trim there, but let me delete it so that it will look more simpler and readable. We believe that our data doesn't need any trimming. So after this is equal to this, then I put a comma, and I make sure that this is also equal to that, then I close the brackets. So this is the same as the top, then the A2 is also the same as the A3. So let me try and follow the same pattern. U2 is equal to the same as 0. Then I press enter. If they are not the same, it won't say 4 axes, but if they are the same, it will say 4 axes. So I do autofill. Let's see if it works. Let's see if this one will work for us. Oh, sorry. Okay, okay, so we end it here. So you see that we have 4 axes for some part. So 4 axes here, that is ARN, ARCN. What is it? So we have 4 axes here, both of them being 100%. Okay, so I think it is here. Yeah, they've written the formula here. So I think I'll add more, because we said you compare the country names first. We compare the rounded to 100, and then we compare the word bus n rounded to 100 here. Wait, this is the same. Okay, this one is the one before and then the one after. The current one and then the one after. If they are equal to 100%. Okay, so let me put this one in this column. So we edit our formula. So it is this equals that, the word bus rounded equals 100. So hold on. So the word bus n rounded, the current one, should equal to 100, and then the word bus n rounded, the previous one, should also be equal to 100. So this is how it goes. So the current one is u2, and it should be what, equal to 100, and then previous one should also be equal to 100. So the previous one is, or the next one is what, also 100. So if that is true, if the first and second one are all 100 like what is here, and then the name of the countries are also the same for the both of them, then we can say four access. Other than that, then empty string. So I'll edit it and do it again. Yeah, I think it has corrected some things there. So I'll end here. All right, so I got that. Now let's move to the next. Create two more columns for ARCR4 and ARCU4. That similarly calculate whether a country has full access for each rural and urban population. So we'll use the same method to do for ARCR4. Then we have ARCU4. So check this out. As for the A2, A3, they will all be the same. And then this one is for N. So ARCN is for this one. So we go to ARCR, then it means we consider the S part. So when I drag this to this part, it means that the this U will now change to S. Sorry, will now change to V because we want to compare. So we want to use this formula together with the R rounded because it is ARCR, so it goes with both bars R rounded. The first one was ARCN, it went with what bars N rounded. So we want to do autofill, but not yet. As for the A2 equals A3, they are constant here at the beginning. It's for every part of these ones. So I'll just lock the column. So I place dollar sign here and then another dollar sign here. And then the U, they will change. So I press enter to accept. Then I can do click and drag here. It's supposed to work here. So after that, let me do let me try to add a new column so that I'll get space. Um, sorry. So I select a column to the right. So I can now select this and that and do autofill. Okay, so I'll end here. I think it should work. Yeah, I think the value error are plenty. So this is, you see, when you come and click on this, you see that the formula is V2. So it is ARCR with the V2, V3. Then we come to the U1, that one compares with the W, and then that is it. So that is that. Okay, so let's continue. We have created the two more columns. In the summary sheet, calculate the number of countries that have full access per population. That is the number of full access occurrence in each of the newly created columns ARC and full ARC. So I'll go to my summary. So I'll intentionally write full access. Then count the countries with full access for each of them. So I'll do count if. So count if, then I come to the first one. Count if it has what? Full access. close it. It has counted that one. So the next ones are continuous, they continue each other, so I can do autofill so that the R and then the U will automatically be filled. Then I go to the next one. It says you should calculate the number of countries that have ARC values equal to 0 that doesn't already have full access for each of the population types. So we are going to also calculate the number of countries that have ARC values equal to 0. So we use count ifs because the conditions here are 2. The countries that have ARC values equal to 0 and also those who don't have full access, and also they don't have full access, if I should say. So this one, let me do country equals 0. Let me do, yeah, ARC 0. Let me do ARC is equal to 0. So it says that number of countries have ARC to be. So we do for this one ARCN. So we count this time around. We do count ifs because the conditions are 2. Then we go and select the ARC full like this, where it doesn't have full access. So not, we use this full access. So not full access. So this two brackets will tell you that this is not full access. And then we go to the second condition. They said where let me check. So let's do the equal to 0 first because we should come to the beginning. So we go and select that one where ARC is not 0, ARCN is not 0. So here, so I come and select this. I go there. Let me put a comma. Okay, so I come here and select ARCN. Oh, it's not working. Let me copy this out and copy it out. Okay, then I'll come and paste it later. So let's do this count ifs. Then I come here, I select this where that one is equal to 0. So I'll just type 0, no bracket. So no quotes. Then I come and paste the other one. So I'll look into that one if it has full access. Then I close it. So it is counting if it is 0, the ARCN is 0, and then it does not have full access. So it is counting those without full access, and also their ARC is what? 0. So when it happens like that, let's come here. You see that this one follows this one, R follows this. So when I do autofill, it will also go accordingly. And this one too, we are talking about ARC and full access, so it will also move to the Y. So if I do autofill, that is why I've arranged this to match these three, and then these ones two are matching something like that from N to R, from R to U, so that when you do autofill, you will not find yourself wanting. So you see, when you come and click inside this, you see that the first one that was R is now S. So when we come here, the R here, column R, is now column S. So we are considering this. And then the one that was X is now what? Column Y. So we are comparing the Y with the S. We are doing the Y with the S. So you see S and Y. So you see that things are going on well here. Okay, so the next one says calculate the number of countries where ARC is less than 0 and doesn't have, so it's similar to this, but this time around it is what? Less than. So we come here, we type arc less than 0. So this formula, instead of 0 it will be, so let me copy it. Let me copy the formula. So I come to the next cell, then I paste it. So instead of 0, I'll now say into brackets less than 0 in quotes. Then this one, they are all the same, so I press enter. I got 16 again. I'll do autofill, and then I'm getting these answers. So the next one says greater than 0 and doesn't have full answers for each population type. So greater than 0, ARC greater than 0. So that one too, we use the same approach. Then I copied and pasted. So this one is greater than, so greater than 0, and then I press enter. So that is it, and then I do autofill. You see that? So this one is easy to do. So these three, they follow the same pattern. So it says we can check for full access by using not equal to. So they are showing you that not equal to is written as this in our count ifs formula on the full access string in whatever. We can check that we've considered all countries for the conditions. So we can check the countries with no value, full access, ARC is 0, ARC is less than 0, then greater than 0, by summing the number of for each and comparing it to the total number of countries. So the total number of countries are how many? Then you add these conditions. So when we come here, we are adding countries with full access, number of countries for this one, the number of countries that are now. So let me put now here so that it won't confuse me. So the number of countries that are now, the one with full access, then these ones. When we add these ones together with this, the answer, the total we should get for these ones too, and then that should also be the same as the total number of countries here. So you see that every country is 2. So when I count and I get the number of countries I'll get, will tell you that uh, um, will tell you, you divide by 2 rather, sorry. So let me right click this and go to uh, column stats, and let's see if we can see the number of countries, here. So it says unique values. So down here you see that unique values 231. So Afghanistan, it will count it once, Albania, it will count it once, and they are all 231. So let's go and check if our next thing will also be 231. So let me try and then sum this and see. So equals sum, then I'll go and select the first one. It says this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. This one is not part. This one. So I press enter. Oh, good. I got 231. So I can drag it here. They are all 231. So it means we are good to go. So let me type 2000 here. Okay. So that is it. We have confirmed it. Now the next one says create a new feature called ARCD in dataset that calculates the difference between the rural and urban for every second row since these rows are empty. So we are going to calculate ARCD for every second row. Okay, so we are going to do that. So we create ARCD in our data. So let me add a new row, a new column. So ARCD, and they are saying we should do what? says we should calculate the difference between the rural and urban for every second row. Okay, okay. So we are calculating the difference in them. So we come here, instead of just calculating the difference between rural and urban, we will use absolute so that the difference will just, all of them will be positive. Looking at this, it says every second row, since these rows are empty, so every second row for ARC and N, I think ARC N, the ARCR and ARCU, sorry, ARCR and ARCU. So we are going to calculate the difference between these ones. Sorry. Okay. So ARCR and ARCU. Uh, so it says every second row. So that is what we are going to do. So if the, it means that if the two rows or the two are empty, then we will not calculate anything. But if it is not, then we will do the calculation. So let's do if ARCR is empty, is equal to empty string, and so let me put it in bracket, and so this and this is also is equal to empty string, and close it. Okay, so if that is the case, we'll have empty string, else we'll calculate the difference between this and that, and that is what we use absolute this minus that. I use absolute so that even if this is bigger than this and you subtract, it won't give you a negative value, it will still give you positive. So that is what we are trying to do. So I'm done with that. Then I do autofill. So I've done the autofill. So every second row for this particular one, we were supposed to do for every second row, right? Sorry, every second row rather. So sorry. So let me put the formula in the second row. Okay. Every second row. So I think okay. So I think the first one is correct. What we did beginning is supposed to be like this. Okay. So it calculates for the ARC difference. Yeah, like this. Okay. So with that said and done, let's move to the next one. So remember ARCR and U are already in percentage. You know that. We again observe value errors. Change the difference formula to account for this error. So we change this to take care of these errors that we see. So we use the if error. So if error, then comma empty string, then close it. So if error, then we fail. So we are done with that. Move to the next one. If we were to calculate the percentage difference, the absolute difference divided by the average of 2 between this ARCR and ARCU, what additional error would we have, and how could we change the difference formula to account for it? So that is something that they are saying. If you have time, you try. Create a histogram of the newly created ARC feature. So we are going to create a histogram with ARC. So we can select it, insert, charts, and automatically mine has selected histogram, but if yours hasn't, you go to the edit charts here, then you select histogram from there. So this is ARC histogram. Then we pull it and put it on the summary page. Then we put it here. Okay, so I have it here now. Let me delete this. Okay, so move to the next. Our original dataset didn't include region information, so we will have to amend our dataset. So import regions.csv into. We want to import region, so we import region to a new sheet. So I go to File, Import, then I go to Upload, Browse, then I select regions, Open. So it tells me create new spreadsheet. We don't want new spreadsheet, we want insert new sheets. Okay, so select insert new sheets and then click on import data. So we have a new sheet here as directed. So they said if you add a new column to the original dataset called region and use the lookup function to add the region based on the country name. So we go to our data set here, then we add a column called region. Let me insert a new column to the right, insert another one. I always want to feel free with this calculation. So I type in region. We are going to use lookup. So I type lookup. What are we looking for? We are looking for this country. Okay, comma. So if you don't see the next, you don't know what's next, you should put input in the formula. You can click on the question mark to give you the what you have to do. So we are on what, the range. So which range are we going to search Afghanistan in so that we can get the region? So we go to regions and then we select the range like this, select the two. So when after selecting, we just close it. So it is going to um, so after doing that, it selected South Asia as our region. So Afghanistan is in South Asia. So you see that. So that is it. Okay, so let's do autofill for the rest. So I click on it, then Instead of doing autofill now, I'll stop. You see these regions, they are here. That is the range. If I do autofill, the range will be changing. And at the end of the day, you get errors. You start getting errors because some of them will be out of the range. Okay. So as you do it, you see that the range will be changing. Then later it will be out of range. Um, I think this one I did it by column, so it's not able to. But then let's see, it's still a b. Okay, so it's still constant. That's why. If not, it would if not, and then you go and then select the regions manually to the end of the region like this, to the end here. That is, it will end here. When you do this, do autofill, this thing will be changing. Okay, it will be changing from, if it is a1 to, let's say, b15, it will change to a2, b16, a3. At the time you realize everything is error. So mine is the whole column, so it doesn't change. It looks like an absolute thing. So I am good to go. So if you follow the same procedure, you don't have to fear. So I will end here. Good. And then I have my region. Now it says in the summary sheet, use any preferred methods to calculate. So we are going to use any preferred method to calculate the number of countries per region, the average annual rate of change on national level per region, the average. So this one, you can see that you have to use pivot table. So let me select the whole data by clicking on this, and then insert. So let me use pivot table in a new sheet. So I am told to find what? The number of countries per region. Okay. So number of countries per region. So the regions will come to the row. So I select region. So these are the regions. And the number of countries. Let me come to values and select yeah, select name. So it will be counting the countries. So now you see that when we selected it, it has counted nicely, but you see that the total is 462. We don't have 462 countries. You remember, we have 231. It means half of this 462 should give you 231. So I'll come here, the values, click on the arrow, and then go to count unique. So count unique will give you the exact number of countries. Okay. So it says that is a A. The B says the average annual rate of change on national level per region. So the average annual rate of change. So I'll click on it for, it says for which one? National, at the national level, ARC for the national. Let me see. ARC national. Where is it? So this one. And they said the average. So I will select average. Then we have ARC R and ARC average annual rate. Average annual rate per region. So ARC urban national. So this is national. So let's do the urban ARC R. And then let me add ARC U so that I'll change them to average. This one to, oh, one of them is gone. ARC average. average, and then this one to average. Okay, so I think the three are here. RC, N, R, and U. And so that is per region. So after selecting, you see per region, each region and its average there. So I have them here. Good. Now let's move to the next one. Which built-in Google Sheet functions or methods allow us to quickly group by and summarize the data? So we have used the built-in function, that is pivot tables, or the built-in method pivot tables. So visualize access by region to investigate the relationship between the national and rural annual rate of change, as well as population size and region. So we create a visualization that represents the national ARC versus the rural ARC, as well as the region and national population size. So here, let's try and then bring out something. We are saying we should draw a visualization that represent the national ARC versus the rural ARC. I don't know. Here it's a little bit confusing. I don't know whether we are doing them separately or we are putting all of them together, because I see national ARCs versus the rural ARC, and then later you come and do the region and then the national population size. So let's go the national ARC, where is it? In the rural ARC, I select them, and then I go to insert, then I go to charts. So I can see something like this. You can see something like this, or I don't know. This is what I see, but I also want to try another thing and see. Let me put this one in the sun. So let me try and then choose the one in the pivot table to and see. I have average ARC and then the R. Let me copy this so that I'll draw something out from this and see. So I'll delete. I want to delete this. Undo. I made a mistake. So I copy this, and then coming to paste here, I use paste special. So values only. Okay, so that I can delete the error from it. Now, then I have these values. So they said we should do national ARC, rural ARC. So where is the national ARC, rural ARC? And then I go to insert chart. Yeah. Okay. Did national ARC and rural ARC? National ARC, rural ARC. Let me see which. No, I didn't select. The data range is C12 to E19. No, 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 I didn't select that. Okay, I'll take this one and put it down, although they didn't specifically state something like this. So I'm using this to also place it here for average. So this and this should be serving almost the same purpose. Okay, so let's move on. Now they said as well as region and population size. So we go there, look for region and population size. So the you see the region is in our summary table or in our pivot table. Sorry, let me pull this one. I've placed this one here already. Yeah, yeah. Let me delete it. So it means you have to get population size in addition so that you can uh, manipulate it. So let me come here and pivot table must appear. Okay. Okay. Um, where is my pivot table? Okay, let's add another pivot table. Let's try to add another pivot table. So insert, let's place it here. Insert pivot table. Sorry, let's come here first. So select any cell, insert pivot table, existing sheet. So my existing sheet is this sheet, this sheet. So this cell, so I click on it, I click create, so it comes here. I want to add it. So from there, I go to rows and I add by region, and then I will add my population size, which is pop n. I think pop n is here. Okay. So then use average. Okay, and then draw for it. So draw a chart for this one. So I will have this. I think this is okay. So I'll take this and put it in my summary. Let me add it to summary. Okay, so that is for region. Okay, then it says, do we observe any patterns in this visualization related to region or a specific relationship between the national and rural annual rate of change? Okay, I think that is how they want us to do. They want us to compare the national ARC with rural ARC, and then we come and do region and population size. Yeah. So here it says weaving ARCs into a story. We've done analysis of the data, calculating many different statistical measures and visualizing the data. But why does this matter and how is it actionable? Sub-Saharan African, home to the largest population in the world with limited access to water, is at the center of our findings. Despite some progress in recent years, Sub-Saharan Africa will only have full access to water by approximately 2080. if the current rate of change doesn't improve. These findings enable us to read a powerful narrative about Africa's water crisis. Without significant intervention, millions of Africans will face a scarcity of clean water for the next 60 years. Okay, so these are the things we are supposed to achieve at the end of the day. We should get 28 features. So let's go and check if we have 28 of them. What they gave us was up to this, and that is 16, right? 'A' to 'P'. So we have 16 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 16 plus 12 will be 28. So we got our 28 features, and they've stated exactly what we should get at the end of the day. So let's look at the questions. I'm not saying what I'm suggesting here is just a suggestion. So if you think you have a different idea, you can, after watching this video, you let me know so that I will also look at it. We are all learning. So it says true or false. The data set provided represent the entire year range from 2000 to 2020 for at least some countries. Remember, I haven't done the MCQ, so I don't know which 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 options are coming, or which one is correct or which one is wrong. I don't even know the marks out there. So if you follow my answers or my suggestions and get something below 50 or 0, don't blame me. I did this video for you to understand the whole concept. It is not about passing the questions. So please check the questions carefully and then compare it with the chart and whatever we have created, so that you answer things yourself instead of trying to rely solely on what I'm saying here. Okay, so the data set provided represent the entire year range from 2000 to 2020 for at least some countries. So true or false? So when you look at the data, does it represent the entire year range from 2000 to 2020? Does it? So you go and check your data if that is the case. So um, for instance, if you come to the pivot table, let me see if I can. Let me see. Okay. Or let me leave it like that. But then you check it yourself. Check the data if what is here. They are saying that it represents from 2000 to 2020 for at least some countries. The data set provide it represents the entire year range. So the entire year range is represented for some countries. That is what it is being said here. Is it true or false? This one is two options. So go and then you think about it, because I can't really say it is true or false. What is the average year difference across all countries for the data set? So this one is a straightforward question. We have done it here. So the average difference, we have average here. So average difference is here. So I don't know if the options in the question doesn't involve something like this, then it means we are wrong, or maybe something went wrong. I don't know, but check it out if it will be the same thing. All right. So the next one says, which of the following observations best represent the distribution of the year column? So the year column, which of the following observations best represent the distribution of the year column? Nothing can be said about the distribution because we have too few data points. The distribution is neither normal, negatively, nor positively skewed, since there are two distinct peaks. The distribution is positively skewed since the peak is to the left of the number line. The distribution is negatively skewed since the peak is to the left of the number line. So look at these options and then look at it. If the distribution for the year column, what we did, that is the distribution for the year column. The one we did that I didn't understand, or I couldn't represent it. I think it should be here. So you let me select the year column and you set a chart so that you see something. Maybe it will tell you something. Yeah. So this is it. This is what I got. This is what I got. I don't know. They said we should choose. Is it histogram? Yeah, we should choose histogram or something. Because when you choose bar charts and all that, you can't see it that clear. Column charts too, it's not clear. Okay. So we can't really see anything here. So when you read these ones, the one that best fits, you can pick it. But I don't think this one is part. The negatively, the last two. I don't think any of them is answering that question based on what I see here. What is the average annual rate of change of access to basic water services for rural populations across all countries? What is the average annual rate of change of access to basic service, water service for rural populations across all countries? So across all countries, what is the average for rural ARC? Let me check. Rural. What is the average annual rate of change of access to basic water services for rural populations? Yes, across all countries. So average. Let me check the pivot table. Okay, so average for rural areas across all countries. Um, Let me check again. What is the average annual rate of access to basic water services for rural populations? So I think across all countries, the average is the total of this, which is 0.48, I think, or 48%. If you have any other idea or you think this is wrong, let me know. As I said, I am just suggesting, or I'm just looking at what I know for now. I'm not uh, I'm not saying that what I'm saying is 100% correct. Mhm. Okay, so let's move to the next one. What is there? Sorry, I've read that. How many countries national populations had a 0% annual rate of change, excluding countries that have 100% access across the time? So how many countries national populations had a 0% annual rate of change (ARC), excluding countries that have 100% access. So these people are have been catered for here. So here we have full access. So we have the 100% countries, then we have those who have full access in both. So and then those who have 0% but without full 100% whatever. So that one is they said across national population. So it will be n. So if it is national population, then it will be under this. So which is 16. Which is 16. Okay. So I think that is what we should be looking at the data we have. So looking at this one to then the sixth one, considering that a negative annual rate of change indicates a decrease in access to water from 1 year to the next, and a zero ARC indicates no change. Which of the following statements is most true based on the data? So although access to basic water services on national level remained unchanged for more countries than in rural and urban areas, rural areas had the greatest decrease in access. Okay. So when we look at our data, these are the ARCs. Let me see if it was on negative and so I think that will be based on the graph, some of the graphs that you drew. Some of them I think is negative ARC N and R. Let me check. It says considering this although access to basic water services on a national level remained unchanged for more countries than in rural and urban areas. Please, this one, check it out. I've explained the whole thing, so you look at the questions and I think giving trying to go through the questions, I'm finding it difficult to tell you that this is correct or this is wrong. But as far as you understand the data we presented, you'll be able to answer the questions in your own way, in your own understanding. So if you have more understanding or you want to give us more understanding on this, you let me know. You just send me a message and then explain to me because I'm also learning. I'm not a carrier of all knowledge, so please do that for me. I will be grateful. So, which two countries had the highest absolute difference between urban and rural annual rate? Well, I think this one is a straight question, so you will go and check. Which two countries had the highest absolute difference between urban and rural annual rate? So, urban and rural. What is urban and rural? So, the difference between urban and rural. We calculated the difference between urban and rural somewhere. Um, where is she do? Yeah. And it says what? Which two countries had the highest absolute? Okay. Which two countries? it didn't show the country. Let me check something here. Okay, so please that one to check. I was checking it from here. This place, urban and rural, is here. Yeah, I think it should be VRCD S2 urban and rural. The difference between them. So I looked in this column to check the highest values here. Uh, I think the highest was 2 point something. That was, is it Morocco or something? So this one is on 2.3. That is Morocco. And then there's another one which is 2.7 or so. When you look through this, yeah, there's 2.4 here. So mm, 2.4, and then there's another one 2. Or bypass that. Okay, so I think that is it. South Sudan and Morocco. That is what I see. Okay, then which of the following statements is most true about the distribution of difference in ARC values between rural and urban areas? More countries had higher annual rates of change in urban areas than in rural areas, since a greater number of difference values falls to the side of the number line. You see, so these things, I don't know why they made us draw some certain things that um when you check, you see that some of them, they the question they are asking, it means you have to go and draw something else, or maybe. So this one, it says rural and urban. Or which of the following statement is most true about the distribution of the difference in rural variables in ARC values between rural and urban areas? So rural and urban areas, we had rural and urban areas. Okay, so let me go with rural and urban. Let me select this and then do it and see. So let me select the rural and urban areas and get a chart for them and see. Okay, I think I do this. Or um, what what was it? More countries had higher annual rate of change in urban areas than in rural areas, since greater number of difference values falls to the one side of the number line. So most more countries had higher annual urban areas than in rural areas. So the urban one is the blue one, and then the red one is the rural area. So in my case, I think this one, more countries had higher annual rate. Oh, I don't think so. They had more in the rural areas than the urban. So the annual rate of change were similar across urban and rural areas for most countries. More countries had higher annual rate of change in rural areas than in urban areas, since a greater number of difference value falls to more than one side of the number line. You cannot say anything about the distribution. So this one I would think it will be third one. I think so. That is what I think from what I've done here. Okay. On average, which region saw the greatest improvement in access to basic water services on a national level over the data set? So on average, which region saw the greatest improvement in access to basic water services on a national level? So which region had? So it means that you have to do the region together with the national. Um, I don't have ERN here. ERCN. Aha, it's here. No, this one is pop N. So let me see if I can add. I'm not able to add. It's will edit. Uh-huh. So let me add ARCN. Yeah. So let me average it. Okay. And it says what? On average, which region saw the greatest improvement in access to basic water services on a national level? So which country had them? Oh, okay. So I already have ARCN here. So it's the same thing that I'm adding. So let me close that one. So this one is 55%, 48%. I think this one is 1%. So the highest is sub-Saharan Africa. I think so. I think so. Based on the visualization investigating the relationship between the rural and national annual rate of change, national population size and region, which of the following statements are true? The one we just did, I think we did two of them. They are here. Rural and national. Okay. So it says, based on the visualization of this, which one of them is true? Only countries in sub-Saharan African region observe a decrease in water access. So sub-Saharan, no. So Middle East has rural, average rural, highest for the rural areas. Let me see. The average population size per country in sub-Saharan Africa is smaller than that of most other regions. Sub-Saharan Africa is smaller, no. Um, Countries in the sub-Saharan region observe a greater spread in rural and national ARC values than other regions. So looking at this, is it true? So it says the blue one is higher than all of them. And then this one is almost like the tall one here. So we are seeing it has what? Greater spread in rural and national values than other regions. Countries with larger population generally observe national energy values between 0% and 1%. Larger populations. I can't read it from here. It should be on the pivot table. So you can check out this one with the pivot table here. You do the analysis yourself and see. I think I'll end the video here. So go through it. If you have any suggestions or any questions, you can post it to me, and then I'll also try my best to help in a way. Okay, all the best. Thank you.